This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and we are here today for something new once again. Just trying new things all the time here at the Simpit. But today we are here for the Pit Stop. The Pit Stop will be our new today's sim racing news show where all of you will be involved in the news as well. And I know there are a lot of news sites out there where you can read those cut and paste articles and the picture from the manufacturer. We're going to be covering those same stories, but I thought, who needs to read the same article over and over again with the same screenshots versus actually being able to talk about them and give your opinions, your thoughts. So what we will be doing is just going through all the big news, going through all the big companies, software and hardware, see who's out there and has news on their internet feed, their social media feeds, their Facebook, Twitter pages, any of the above. We'll just do whatever we can to find news. And I'm going to make an offering to you all out there. Consider you part of the Pit crew, the Simpit crew. But if you see stories out there in the world during the show, hop on in. Let me know, and I will look it up, and we'll try to get it on the show. I don't claim to know everything. I'm going to do my best to scour the world to find as much as I can, but we don't want to miss anything. Also, if you have any comments or opinions on any of the topics we talk about, go ahead and chime in, and maybe we'll take a little diversion and do a little side topic on those things, just for the fun of it. So, real quick, I'm going to do a little selfish promotion. And up here, I now have the schedule. And right now, this is what I'm trying to do on the show. I'd like to get as much consistency. I've been doing this for 10 years. Consistency is something I've always lacked and always wanted to really bring to the show. But with the type of content we've always done, it's been difficult to do that. Well, with covering news, with certain things like our SRS series and Attack the Track, we can start to schedule certain elements. Now, if I go out of town or there's a change, I will make a change in the schedule, and I will probably post it on our Facebook feed and also at the website, which I didn't do with this schedule just yet, but we'll take care of that and get things all caught up. But you can see Monday through Friday at this time, 9 a.m. I picked this time on purpose because I figured it's a time that really works for the entire world. Everybody who sim races, for the most part. And if you're not, if this isn't a good time zone for you, I really apologize. I did my best to find a time slot that I thought worked for everybody. But luckily, this show will be turned into a video so you can at least watch it, maybe not take part in the discussion. But we'll have more opportunities in the future for that as well. So there we do have the schedule, and again, I would like you all to join the conversation, and if you find news stories, maybe something I didn't find, please bring it to my attention, and let's go ahead and do the best we can. I believe that's 6 o'clock in the evening, which is about perfect. That's a great time. So yeah, Willie, I tried very hard to make this a good time slot for everybody. So, the way we're going to do this, just to give, today's our first show, and I'm going to tell you, of all the things I do, and I know with the live show, I've gotten a lot more casual than the edited shows that I've done in the past. This will probably be the most casual. Maybe the Saturday will be even more casual, the wind tunnel inspired. I haven't come up with a name really yet. Sim Chat is all I'm calling it for now, but wind tunnel inspired discussion where we'll pick one or two topics and just really talk about them in great detail till we've exhausted ourselves, and then we'll call it to the end of the show. But these shows are about going through what's out there in sim racing and talk. Is it a big deal? Is it a no big deal? Is it, something critical that might expand our world, our market, make sim racing better? Or is it just more smoke? So we're going to go ahead and H-Carbs jumping the gun there. That is the biggest news of the day. Hands down, that is the biggest news of the day. We're going to get to that, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a little bit of a letdown because I don't have any more information than you do. And if you've seen that post, you know as much as I do, at least officially speaking. So what I'm gonna do here is turn off my graphic, and right here, what I'm doing is I'm kind of going from company to company, looking for Twitter feeds, Facebook feeds, website information, any news, and I want to keep it pretty. If we do this every day, we should be able to keep it pretty short because there won't be a tremendous amount of news. So today I'll cover a few things that maybe are a couple days old just to show you what I have in mind. So here we're at Forza, and nothing really big deal here. I just, on the 7th they talked about release coming on the 19th. So that's really not a big deal. And when we talk about Saturday's show, which is going to be Do You Believe the Hype? I'm going to be talking about some of the big sim companies and the mass guerrilla or marketing campaigns that they've been doing. And do you think it really translates or affects the game? But that's for Saturday. But I did want to bring Forza up because obviously that's one of those titles. And there's the dog. He's got to get involved in the show, as you know. Next topic comes to us from iRacing.com, and yesterday was the beginning of the world's fastest gamer competition in the iRacing phase. So we just finished up the R Factor 2 phase, saw some amazing qualifying races, well, saw some great qualifying times, saw how far down the list I was, saw some great qualifying races, and then honestly saw one of the best sim races I can think on record. Just a really cutthroat, tight race that ended up so clean, but then had some incredible passes for the lead. And Rudy Van Buren, who I'm going to get ahead of myself a little bit, Rudy Van Buren actually was the winner of that competition. And not sure if you can see that. But there's a video actually at the World's Fastest Gamer Twitter feed. It's probably on their Facebook page as well, but it's a little background on Rudy, the guy who actually won that round, and a guy who is lined up to have a good shot at that World's Fastest Gamer, which, if you don't know about this, McLaren, of all companies, is giving away, or hiring, I should say, a full-time sim person. They've been a little vague about the overall details, but we know it's something along those lines, and right now Rudy is lined up for that position. So that kind of takes us through World's Fastest Gamer. But again, the iRacing phase, which I'm going to have to get in and see where I fall on that ladder. And I say fall because I fell on the R Factor 2 ladder. We're going to have to see, but if you want to know where you stand against the best sim racers on Earth, any of these World's Fastest Gamer competitions are going to really show where you are. So if R Factor was your game, you should have been on that one. If iRacing is your game, you got to at least get in there and see what it's all about. I'm not going to dwell on topics unless you guys really start chiming in with conversation on them. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of move along with some of my basic thoughts. And Michael, that's something that I got to get in there tomorrow and find out. R Factor was just open to the world. You hot lapped. If you had a best time and you got in that top group, you were going to be in the qualifying race, and then you raced your way into the final. And then the final was pretty straightforward, winner take all, just as Rudy Van Buren did. So iRacing, with their whole iRating, when I went into the Global Mazda series, my iRating is medium, I would say, and it meant that it was going to be very difficult for me to get points based on who I was racing against based on my iRating. So if you don't know iRacing, your iRating determines basically your skill level or competence or your performance in iRacing. And if you're great, you win every race, you're going to have a 6,000-7,000 iRating. And if you're terrible, you're going to have a 200-300 iRating because you can't even score points. I sit somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 iRating, which is a strong iRating. I'm not embarrassed to say that number. But it does not put me against the best of the best. And if you want to score top points, you have to be racing in those grids. And so if iRacing does use iRating, it's going to actually make it so, as Michael stated, beginners are going to have no chance of winning the competition. There's no way to get your iRating that high, that fast over 4 weeks to be able to scoring those points, which means it's almost already to the elite of the elite. Now, those people have earned that position over time in iRacing, but it's a shame that it's not the same open competition. Perhaps we'll find out when we go check that out, and I'll have to do a whole show on that as well. But that is a good topic and something I'll be covering over the next 4 weeks. Next up, Assetto Corsa Ready to Race Pack is now available on console. So it was delayed. I know they're having some issues with the console version of Assetto Corsa. I know they're working hard on it because I see posts all the time, and that's something that in the future we'll follow those stories. When the Xbox One and PS4 version started having problems, we could have stayed on top of that, followed up on when the changes and fixes were going to be made and what was going on exactly there. And that's exactly the purpose of this show. And again, I say there are a lot of sites where you're going to find these cut and paste articles. You can follow the Twitter feeds. But in some cases, I'm hoping that one of you out there is going to have some kind of insider knowledge that takes it even further than what we're discussing here, reading exactly the text. Maybe you can read between the lines. So Assetto Corsa making moves on that, and that's a good thing, and that'll kind of get the console people back happy again. Next announcement is Project Cars, and this is just another small thing, other than the fact that the game releases on the 22nd, so we're coming up almost inside of a week away now, and I've been doing some behind-the-scenes work with that running a little bit behind on it, unfortunately, but having fun with Project Cars. Anyway, one thing I did want to mention is they're bringing the Pirelli World Challenge cars to the game, and that's a big deal. More cars, more liveries. If you follow that series, it's going to be fun to hop into the car of maybe somebody that you're a fan of. I like that. Part of sim racing for me is the realism, bringing in those things that I watch on the weekends, Sunday racing when I'm watching it, or Thursday Night Thunder. I want to be able to emulate everything I watch on TV as a racing fan, and I think that that is a pretty common topic for a lot of sim racers. So them having more cars that you can associate the racing side and get in inspires people, and I think that's beneficial to the sim or game. And I think Project Cars, we can probably lump them in that Simcade, maybe one step up from a Simcade type title. But yeah, they have been, and they're another one of those titles. When I talk about Saturday, and I want to talk about this in great detail, the do you believe the hype? But Project Cars, Forza, and Gran Turismo are the big three that I'm thinking of coming, and that's coming on the heels of Codemasters F1 2017. So these are the four big pieces of software that are coming out all together around the same time, and it's just, you log on to Facebook or Twitter, and it's just like 50 posts between those four companies. So I think of the movie industry and how much they advertise, and does that translate into good movie or a quality of movie? And gosh, you have to even think that's money being spent in marketing. Sure, it comes back to them. Anyway, that's for Saturday. I have a lot of thoughts on this beyond just the surface thoughts of what they're doing, but what it really means as well. So moving right along, not a lot of news. We're going to just try to keep this to what's out there today. And I don't really want to just make these really long-winded because we're going to do them every day. So the point is to cover the big topics. And if we miss anything, of course, hopefully you'll chime in here or email me for me to add it to tomorrow's show. And we'll be doing these Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. So that's it for Project Cars for now. We'll come back to that pretty much daily as we talk about that Media Blitz campaign. And the other thing I want to do is try to alert you to competitions, things where you can get involved, have fun. Sometimes they have points or prizes or money or purses available. Sometimes they're just for fun. Race Department has a lot of racing going on, but right now they are doing signups for their Grand Prix Championship, and they're looking for 42 drivers to run 2 simultaneous grids. So if you haven't checked out Race Department, they also have been doing a lot of work. So if we have been covering them over this show for the long period of time, you would know just how many things they've added and how many enhancements have gone into Race Department. And that's something we could talk about on a Saturday show. H-Car mentions Grid Autosport is coming to iOS. That's great news. I'm not going to pull that one up right now, but thank you for that. And right now I'm kind of staying away or trying to stick to the main things, but that's I'm really glad you mentioned it, because that's exactly the kind of input that I want, things that I might not think of or might not have seen. There's a lot of things going on in our industry, but what I was saying, when I think of Race Department with what they're doing, and they're kind of coming in late, or they've been around the longest really, but coming in late, you got Project Cars, you've got Assetto Corsa, you've got F1 2017, all these games are getting very competitive. And when I think, and that's great, and you think about the manufacturer, someone asked about the TSXW, it's going great, by the way, loving this wheel so far. You have Thrustmaster and Fanatec really duking it out, and we're going to come back to Fanatec in just one moment. Fanatec, Fanatec, whatever you want to call it. Either way, Thomas Jackermeyer will be happy with how you call it, especially if you're buying his wheels or a fan of his products. But what I was getting at is I think about rivalries. So when I was younger, really into basketball, it was the Lakers versus the Celtics. And it just seemed year after year, these were the two in the finals every time. And I swear that rivalry, for me as a fan, made it better, but I swear, I think that from their perspective, it made each team step up to an even higher level. It made them bring out their A game. It wasn't just another game, sure, it's the finals, but it was against those guys that you just had to beat. And sometimes it's friendly, sometimes the word rivalry is not friendly, but either way, until it gets out of control to the point of viciousness, I think it actually inspires and brings out the best. So we see the software companies really starting to go at it. And if one company comes out with news or a new mod or a new track or new, and you see the content, you see how one company will come out and then that car spreads throughout the entire community. So you can see the response that goes on from the companies as they try to counter market the other companies and counter position. But it, to me, is bringing out the best of sim racing in both the software and hardware side. So that takes us to one of our next big topics of the day, and I'm going to lead into this with talking about Simracing Expo. I don't have a graphic for Simracing Expo because my feed is in German, but Simracing Expo is going on in at Nürburgring right now during the Blancpain Series, big weekend there at the track, and Simracing Expo is free to the public, so if you're in the region, if you're in that part of Europe and you're not planning on going over there, get over there. Go check out the Simracing Expo. You're going to have a lot of companies there, including Fanatec. And Fanatec's going to be there, and today they're doing something very special. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Ta-da! The Podium Series. The Club Sport is no longer the reigning champ. The Club Sport is no longer the top of the line in the world of Fanatec. There's been so much news about a direct drive wheel coming from Fanatec, and apparently it's here, and it's going to be on display at Simracing Expo. I wish that I could show you a picture of the wheel, but I cannot. I do not have one. I have seen one, but it was not for public eyes, I should say, is the proper wording. But this story is at the Fanatec website. I'm sorry, it's actually at their blog. If you don't know about it, the Thomas blog or the community section of the Fanatec website. It's also on their Facebook page. But all we really get is a new era of hardcore sim racing products above the Club Sport Series. So you now have the CSL level, the Club Sport level, and now the podium level wheels from Fanatec. And I'm assuming it will be priced accordingly. And they are going to be displaying that wheel at Simracing Expo. So anybody who is looking to try it out can try it out. I will get some word back from people I know going there about it. Hopefully get some pictures. Maybe we can talk more about that tomorrow. But that is really big news. Fanatec has really been stepping it up, and this is a step in the right direction. You can check it out. Again, here's Fanatec blog. You can find that in the community section of their website. It's also on their Facebook page. And if you look for news coming out of Simracing Expo, you will also find that we'll probably get some photos and videos of it in use. So we're going to have to keep our eyes open all over the internet for that. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is I know another company that will officially be there, and I'd love to be there. I would love to be at this event, but I couldn't go there this year. Just budget wasn't there. But Huskenveld is going to be there, and they have some amazing products. You could say they are one of the leaders in sim racing, and they've done it behind the scenes for so long, and now they're really starting to make their presence known in sim racing. So, again, for those in Europe, this is one of the best opportunities ever to really check out some great sim racing products and try them out in person. And more importantly than that, even, to be able to really meet the people involved. So you could actually meet the people behind Fanatec. So instead of them just being this company, this is sim racing. We're a small world, and you can meet the individuals responsible for or behind the products. So this is a one-of-a-kind opportunity. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend. Maybe next year I'll get lucky enough and get an invite out there, be able to find some budget to take care of that. So that is pretty much the end of today's news from everything I was able to find out there. I will expand. Today I looked at about 27 different sites looking for today's news, and I will continue to expand that list. So today was show 1. Just wanted to get it launched, just wanted to get it going, and my intention is not to let these turn into 2-hour shows. This is just today's news, and some days it might be 1, and some day it might be none. I might come in and say, wow, nothing going on. You could probably expect Monday shows to be a little longer because we'll cover what happened over the weekend as well. And again, if you're going to be part of this show, we're going to do it every day at 9. You can talk about it. If anybody brings up questions or topics on any of the things I'm discussing, we're going to take a diversion and talk about those things. And if anybody has any ideas, like we saw the one about, I already forgot, I got so many things going on here, going to the iOS. It was Grid Auto Sport, going to the iOS. So, you know, somebody might bring up a topic that I didn't even think of. I love the way today everyone jumped the gun. Everyone knew what the big news of today was, the Fanatec podium series. So even before I got on the air, I saw comments showing up in the stream about that. So that is the big news, and hopefully tomorrow maybe we can get a video. Maybe we can get some screenshots at the very least. Let me just one last time check my email and find out if I did get a photo, which I requested. I'm going to bring up the schedule one more time so you can see this is the other big announcement today. So we can call this the Simpit news. But today we are able to really lay down a schedule of what we're going to do with the live show. Now, this is still not covering the edited shows. As we know, we're working on the Thrustmaster TSXW wheel review. That will be a formal show since we've already done the boxing. We have a DIY piece in the works that will also be a formal show. So this schedule is just the live show. Shows like this, Monday through Friday. You can see up there, Pitstop, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 a.m., which is 1600 GMT, which I picked as the best time for the entire world. Also on Saturday, we're going to do our sim chat. Anybody has an idea for a better name for that? But the important thing is you are all, if you're here watching, if you're here putting comments in, then you are part of the pit crew, the sim pit crew. And Saturday, we are going to have our sim chat, and we're going to discuss what I talked about during the show today. Do you believe the hype? All the marketing blitz for the big 4 games that have come out or coming out in the last month. And I'm blown away by how much my Twitter and Facebook feeds are blown up each day by these 4 companies. And what will that mean? Will they deliver upon that? And what are our expectations? That's what we're going to talk about Saturday, 10 a.m. I might have a backup topic, but that will be the point of Saturday. And beyond that, you can see Wednesday we have Attack the Track, Setup Shop for Beginners. That'll be at 6 p.m. because that is the same time as the race time. That is preparation for the Simracing System series in the Porsche Carrera RSR 3-liter Cup series that we're doing, and that race is Thursday and Friday, so we'll stream that race live. 2 races per week. This is race week 3 coming up from Nürburgring. So next week on Wednesday, we'll have a new Attack the Track and Setup Shop for Beginners, where we'll continue to improve upon that setup and get it ready for week 4. So that is going to do it for today's show. I hope you liked today's show. I know it was brief, and these news topic shows will be brief. In fact, this one probably a little long-winded because we talked about the schedule, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the format of what we're doing. And Real Gun, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Tom, yes, I noticed that as well. I can't wait till we get across that line. And you can all do me a favor there. Share. Share the feeds. When I post something on Facebook, share it on your page. Tell a friend. Let people know. Subscribe to the channel. And we are going to do everything we can to just keep bringing you more and more content. And more importantly, more diversity of content. I really want to cover reviews, news, DIYs, racing, school, inside the mindset of the aliens, inside the mindset of the manufacturers and the people of our industry. So you can count on a lot of diversity and more content, and you can do your part by being here, chiming in with comments during the discussion, sharing, and letting a friend know, and that would be you doing your part of being the Simpit crew. Thank you very much for watching today. This is the Simpit. I'll see you on the track.